Ba-dum. Ba-dum, ba-dee-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Bum, ba-dum, ba-dee-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Monday night mini medicine card readings. I am Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman, and we are going to pull some cards. So, if you're new here, how this works is the first 6 people to say yes in the comments get a 1-card reading. Hey, Emerald. But if you're not one of the first 6, no worries. If you are, oh wow, okay, everyone's jumping on. So we got Emerald, Anna, Valerie, Roulette and Joe, and Sage. Awesome, and that's our 6. Woohoo! Record time. So, if you are not one of the first 6, you can choose a number between 1 and 6. And, yep, I already got my 6. Oh, sorry. Terena, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. We already have ours. You just missed being the 6th one. So, choose a number. It's a new record. Choose a number between 1 and 6, and then listen to what I say for that card. And I promise you that whatever you need to know is going to be said in the course of that. The universe has a wonderful way of dovetailing things. Or, Terena, if you're still there, Valerie said she will give up her spot. And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name right or not. I was just feeding my kitty and she spilled food here where I'm writing and stuff. So, Terena, you are in. Thank you, Valerie. And please let me know if I'm pronouncing your name right. I'm not sure. Ada, hi! We already have our 6, so if you come in later, choose a number between 1 and 6 and listen to that card. Awesome. I'm glad. So, let's see. So, and if you're new here, I am Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman. And welcome. Thank you so much for spending your Monday night with me. And this is totally free out of the love of my heart because I love doing this. I love helping people. My only ask is if you would please share this video. You can share it on your page, on your wall or whatever. Hi, Ada. It's so good to see you. It's good to know you're here. Awesome. And if you would like to contribute and support your local friendly neighborhood shaman, I do have pinned at the top the comments my PayPal and Venmo. So if you enjoy my work, if you have, feel like you got something out and want to give back, I am so very grateful for that. But that is never necessary here. So, thank you. Anything else I'm forgetting? I think that's it. So, let us start. So, card number 1 is for Emerald. Yeah. All right, Emerald. You got bat in reverse. Batten down the hatches. Card number 1 is Bat. I love that the number is 42. The answer to the question of life, the universe, and everything. And Bat is about rebirth. Feather, we already have our 6, unfortunately. But I can pull a card for you anytime, my friend. So with Bat in reverse, when Bat comes up, a lot of times it's everything is shaking up. And like I say, like I like to say, it's like, normally we ground to the earth. We ground downward, right? But right now, everything that has supported you in the past. Oh, thank you, Sage. So Feather, you can be number 6. Yay, thank you, Sage. So Feather, you are number 6. Awesome, thank you guys. So everything, it's rebirth. So it's like death and rebirth. When I had an experience with Kali, the goddess, and the one thing she told me, she actually, I asked if what she had to tell me. And I was like on her lap like a little kid. And she was holding me with 2 arms, and then with 2 other arms, she actually kind of reached in and opened her chest and revealed like the universe. And there was like this big spiral galaxy spinning right there in her chest and kind of wobbling, showing both sides. And she said that, birth and death are 2 sides of the same coin. And we say that all the time, but we still emphasize the 2 sides, right? We never get to the point where it's one coin. And she said that birth and death are the same action. And so everything that was supporting you before can no longer hold you. It can no longer support you, not out of punishment or out of anything you did wrong, is that you've outgrown the old paradigm, right? And so all of that is giving way. And if you think about an hourglass, right? And you got all the sand at the top, but as it pours through that opening, right, that toroidal field, when you're up on top, it's all nice and smooth and everything is getting along harmonious. And the closer you get to that narrow hole, things start jumping around, banging off of each other, getting more agitated, more anxious, more chaotic, right? Until you hit that hole and then it's just poof. That is death and rebirth. It's the same action. And so as things are shaking up, that's kind of the dying process of your old world. And as it gets closer and closer, and then all of a sudden it's poof, and it all calms down. It's stillness and openness. And so when things are falling apart, rather than trying to ground downward, to put your weight downward, it's like changing your perspective, turning your perspective on its head, literally. Ground up, ground to spirit. That's the only stability. That is the true foundation, right? Well, everything is settling, everything is rearranging underneath you. You can stay above it with your feet in the ceiling of the cave, right? And see the new perspective. In reverse, the things that are changed, there might, how do I put it? There is probably some resistance to, oh, it makes sense to you. Good, awesome, confirmation. So yeah, and it, you know that like on a spiritual path, it's an endless cycle of death and rebirth, just like the earth. She's coming into wintertime now, right? Everything is dying, everything, the leaves are falling, everything is going inward to take care of itself, protect itself from the cold weather, etc. And so that's what we're talking about, that same thing. It's like time to go inward, time to go into the darkness. And just like Bat, they're not blind like people think they are, but they don't have very good eyesight. And so they rely on the sonar. That's why they have such big ears, because they create the squeaks and stuff, right? And then the squeaks bounce off of stuff and the sound waves come back. And they basically get a holographic image in their head from those sound waves bouncing off. So they're able to navigate in the dark. And so that is one of the advantages of being in the dark is that your other senses are magnifying, right? Just like I said, the old ways can no longer sustain you. They can no longer support you. And so the same with, you can't navigate in the same ways because that earth, the ground is not there anymore the way it was. And so you have to rely on higher senses in order to navigate. In other words, your heart, your intuition. And so it's like using, if you think about it, sound waves, they're using sound waves, a frequency, right? And so you're basically tuning intuitively into the waves, the frequencies. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Feather, blah. The bats have really good hearing, and that's why they do the sonar, because they hear. Devlin, there's no spots left. I'm sorry, my friend. But choose a number between 1 and 6. We're only on card number 1. Yeah, and so, and it's perfect timing. Like we tend to forget that our own personal cycles reflect the cycles of the earth, right? And when Bat comes up, it's kind of like it's coming into your own personal winter, and it's perfect timing because it's winter outside. The outside is reflecting what's going on inside you. And so you can take a cue from the trees, dropping everything they don't need, and they're going to sleep. They're pausing. All of the sap is going inward, right? And so it's time to, when it's dark and you can't see your way forward, it's time to rest. It's time to dream, right? Dream about the future. Dream, because you're right now you're in the womb. The darkness is the void, and it's the womb of the cosmic mother. Exactly, Amaral. Relying on your intuition, just like a bat with its sonar. So you've got this. In reverse, it might be that there's just some lingering resistance or confusion about what's going on. But I would guess that now that you have the context, that it's going to smooth out quite a bit. I was like, okay, Bat, anything else? And Bat told me to remind you how amazing bats are. They're a mammal that flies, right? It is not a common thing. And so it's like to celebrate your uniqueness, celebrate your gifts that set you apart from the crowd, okay? You're magical. Bats are nothing less than magical. So, all right. So card number 2 for Anna. Been rewatching the Hawkeye series on Disney Channel for probably the 50th time. So it's kind of a Christmassy set in Christmas time. I love it. Now that song's caught in my head. All right, Anna, card number 2 for anyone who's following by the numbers. All right. Anna, you got Swan. If you haven't noticed yet, you're on the brink of basically enlightenment. Basically finding, how do I put this? More than a coming home. That was the one phrase that was in my head. Oh, thank you, Tarana. I'm still not sure where you put the accent on your name, but thank you. I love singing. I sing at the drop of a hat. I wanted to be I actually, when I was in high school and college, I wanted to go to Nashville and be a country singer, believe it or not. But anyway, so Anna, not so much a coming home, but it's like an arriving. It's like an arriving. You're not going anywhere. Nothing is really changing, but it's like a mental, emotional arriving at where you are. Does that make sense at all? It's kind of like, you know, the wren is on the wing and the snail is on the thorn. God is in his heaven and all is right with the world. It's kind of like the clouds have passed, the fog has lifted, and the true self of you, that beautiful, illuminated bird of light that you are, that you came here to be, is being revealed. You're realizing it. It's recognizing what's already been there. And just like the ugly duckling, you've gone through your trials and tribulations. You felt out of place in the world. You felt awkward and not sure how to make things work, whatever, all by the rules of society. Rules of society, right? And now it's like all of that crap is falling away. And it's actually because of that stuff that you have the strength to become who you actually came here to be. Does that make sense? Swan is about surrender. It's recognizing that you came here with a purpose. And even if you don't know that purpose personally, you have the trust in the universe that, you know, the higher part of you or creator, however you want to frame that, knows exactly what's happening and that everything is unfolding the way it needs to, that everything is always working out for you no matter what it looks like. And finding the gifts, right, even in the hard parts, it's surrendering, knowing that everything that happens is bringing you home. I've talked before about my decade of panic attacks and anxiety and stuff, right? And I would never want to relive that period of my life. I would never wish that on anybody. At the same time, having come through that, I can see how that period really helped to shape me. I've learned so much about myself and about how I relate to the world, how I relate to spirit through that experience. Worst period of my life. I woke up every morning thinking it was my last day, figuring my body could not take any more stress. And yet, here I am, right? And dealing so closely with the possibility of death and really cutting, like, right on the leading edge of purpose of life, what is the meaning of life, and all of that kind of stuff, actually fed who I am now. And I have that wisdom, I have that compassion now to draw on to do my life's work, right? And it's like that life work of your own is starting to come into focus. And it comes from surrendering and realizing that you've always been on your purpose. You've always been on your path. Nothing can sway you from that. Every step is a part of your path forward. And in surrendering to that, the other aspect of Swan is grace, and giving yourself the grace to experience what you need to experience, knowing that there is a bigger payout on the other side of whatever challenge, whatever bumps in the road there are. It's like doing reps in the gym, and there is a purpose to them. They are making you stronger rather than taking away from you. Okay? It's beautiful. Like I always say, it's like no one sees a swan and goes, ew, right? You were meant to be seen. You were meant to inspire, okay? If nothing else, if fulfilling no other purpose, the swan is awe-inspiring. You're welcome, Anna. All right, Tarana. Welcome, Tarana. I don't know if you've been here before, but I'm glad you're here now. Thank you for joining us. So card number 3. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. All right. Well, welcome, Tarana. It's good to have you. I'm glad I could pull a card for you, too, on your first time here. So, card number is 3, right? 3. For Tarana, you got alligator in reverse. And I'll start out by saying reverse is never a bad thing. I know people get cards in reverse, even like in a big spread, like there's some cards in reverse. People will ignore the ones that are upright, go straight to the reverse cards. Like, what did I do wrong? Am I going to hell? Am I going to burn? And it's like, no, the reverse cards tend to be, they actually help to focus on what needs attention And a lot of times they're the energy that is happening under the surface that hasn't quite risen yet. And so alligator in reverse, alligator is about integration. And so in reverse, it might be that your world at the moment, like most everybody else going on right now, is in a little bit of disarray, disorganized, fragmented. And so that's why alligator is coming to help you, because she is about integration. She floats at the top of the water with just her eyes above, right? Her eyes looking out the side of her head. And so she can see the entire panorama around her. And so she can see everything. She is the center of her world. And she sees how every puzzle piece of the world fits together. Her world is not disjointed. It is one big harmony. Unlike us that tend to have fragments, where it's like our social life is over here somewhere, our family life is back there, our work life is over here somewhere, and we don't know how they connect, right? This is bringing you into focus, helping you to pinpoint how those parts all fit together. And the basic result of that, like I said, is that you are the center of your reality. You are the glue that holds these various aspects, these various interests, these various activities, etc., together in a way that no one has ever done before. And so allow yourself, how do I put this? You don't need to run around trying to put things together, tape things up, change how things react to each other. It's a time of just staying centered, resting, floating. Allow the universe to carry you for a little bit. Bask in the sun, like alligator. I mean, they sleep for hours and hours and hours in stillness, just laying in the sun, right? And so it's time to let this is interesting. Let your ego self, your personality, your human self to rest, and allow the bigger part of you that is non-physical to settle in, okay? There's nothing you need to fix right now. There's nothing you need to do right now. It's kind of like alligator in the water, just riding out the waves, allowing the water to come to stillness around you and letting everything else fall into place. And that can be that can be so hard, especially in our society where we're taught to work, and make things happen and that kind of thing, right? Doing nothing is difficult. But doing nothing is the action called for right now. Let things settle. And you're the center of your reality. And so the outward expression, your outside world reflects your inner reality, right? And so the way to change the outside is to change the inside. And I know that's a cliche, and I know that that's not doesn't give any practical instructions on how to do that, but I'm getting journaling would be really good right now. I don't know if you journal at all, but journaling, creative pursuits, Whatever helps you to center and ground, that's what you need to do right now. Because another thing that is happening is kind of similar to Bat, the first card. You're in a process of rebirth in a way. You do journal, awesome. I think like journaling, or if you do any kind of creative painting, drawing, dancing, something like that to help. It's like creating, this is weird because it's like you want the waves to calm down, but if you're the one making the waves through movement or creativity and you're sending those waves out to the universe, those are the waves you're going to get back that are going to be supportive of you, that are going to reflect, your highest creative being, the true you who stays bottled up all the time, right? And I know it's really hard to do nothing. So it takes practice, I would recommend even scheduling it. Like, all right, every day at 4 o'clock, I'm going to take 15 minutes to just sit and meditate or do nothing. Just sit and just be, and then when you get good at that, or you can start with 5 minutes and just keep inching up that time until you're able to sit for long periods of time, because the more we can sit in stillness and watch the world around us, the more it's ironic, because you're kind of in charge, you're a co-creator of your reality. I'll put it that way. You're a co-creator, but the creation comes from a place of alignment or not alignment. That's the two. It's about being in alignment. And when you get into alignment first, then everything you do is inspired action. If you're going to act, you want it to be inspired action. Because otherwise, if you're not in alignment, then all you're doing basically is rearranging boxes. There's no real change. There's no real healing taking place. But if you're in alignment with yourself, in alignment with spirit, inspired, inspirited, then you get the intuitive nudges of what to do. And when you do it from that place of the heart, then everything you do affects everything else exponentially. Like Abraham Hicks says that like one person in alignment is more powerful than 1 million people who aren't. And so it's using, an alligator, like dropping into the reality, like in the water, and just dropping in to stillness. Because nothing is created in the physical world that isn't first created in the non-physical world. Right? The true creation, the true changes, the true healing take place in the unseen realm. And it's so much more powerful to create from that place rather than trying to contrive things to happen or connect things that don't need to be connected or whatever it is. So yes, I highly recommend trying to, and put it on your schedule. Doing nothing is important. It's important enough to schedule it. And if someone asks, oh, are you busy at 3 o'clock on Wednesday or whatever, and you've got that on your account, it's like, sorry, I can't see you then. I'm doing something, which is nothing. I'm doing nothing, but that is something, right? It's important, and we underestimate the importance of that stillness, of that inward looking, because if we're chasing it, we're never going to get it. When you chase what you're trying to get, you're pushing it away from you. And the best way to get what you need or desire is to allow it to come to you. And when it does, it's almost like an afterthought. It's like, oh, there's that. Like alligator. Oh, there's that fish. Chomp. Right? Very Taoist. If you don't know, there's, if you've never, okay, the Tao Te Ching it's the second most reprinted book after the Bible. And it's a Chinese, it's from Lao Tzu, who wrote it before the Bible ever was, I think. And it's like these, it's the watercourse way. The Tao that can be spoken is not the true Tao, and all those kind of different things. But that's like the essence of alligator is the Tao. They're the watercourse way, the course of least resistance. So I would, if you haven't heard of that or you do know about it, haven't read, I would highly recommend reading that. Or on YouTube, there's a video of Dr. Wayne Dyer reading the Tao Te Ching. He reads the entire Tao Te Ching. And to hear it in his voice is really awesome. And it's all about, true power is power that doesn't need to be proven, right? That kind of thing. It's everything is happening in the flow, in the watercourse way, that there is purpose and reason in the world. And the more we can let go and trust the flow of the river, the easier it is and the more we gain, right? So there's a couple of recommendations. I hope that is helpful. Let me know, please. Let me know how it goes or if I can help in any other way. And welcome again. Thank you for coming. I hope you come back. I hope that was helpful. So, all right, card number 4 is for roulette. Or Wanda Woman. Let's see here. All right, roulette. Card number 4. We have porcupine. So, play. Focus on, well, actually, with porcupine, there's not a lot of focus. It's more of a happy-go-lucky wandering, through the forest, looking at all the shiny things, looking, what's under that log, and digging it up, and exploring, because porcupine is automatically protected. He doesn't have to worry about protecting himself. And so, like I like to say, innocence is its own protection. I love the image of porcupine. If you take his quills and think of each of the quills as a ray of light, right? And if you hold him in the right way, he's got these rays of light going out in every direction. And his quills are just a high density hair, right? And so it's everything that he's made up of. It's part of him. It's part of his body. He doesn't put it on, but it emanates from him. It's an expression of him. And so that higher frequency, that higher vibration keeps other things out, keeps anything that would harm him away from him, because he's in his innocence and his center, his authenticity. And that's how he keeps himself in that place of innocence of the little child, inner child. Because there is nothing to fear. Okay, how do I put this? Again, something Abraham Hicks says, that the universe will always guide you. Your highest guidance will always be in the direction of your dreams and how to make them come true. It will never be about protecting yourself from something else, because you're one with everything else. There is nothing that can ultimately harm you. Physically, yes. But ultimately, your spirit, your heart, that is eternal, and nothing can take that away from you. And when you move from that place of innocence in the heart, miracles happen all around you, right? It clears your path of things that might harm you. And so it's like, go for the things you want. Go for the joy, because that joy is who you are. That joy is the higher vibration of you. And by enjoying that, you actually keep away anything that might conflict with you or challenge you or harm you, right? Like I had a client today who went to a concert of someone last night that she loves. And she's like, why did I never go and see them in person? And it was kind of an 80s band. So kind of like a lot of people rolling their eyes, oh, can you go listen to them? But it really was important to her. And it's like that joy of something that resonates. It doesn't matter what anyone else's opinion or thoughts or reaction is. If you're in that joy, that is the most important thing. And that is what opens the door to other elements of joy, other experiences, other people. They come when you're in that place of innocence and joyfulness, right? We did, a few years ago, we did a ritual, a ceremony for the salmon out on the shore of the Sound. And we got there, everyone, like before the ritual, everyone was like, oh my God, we have to do something. Oh my God, the world's falling apart. And just this, despair. And what can we do? We're so small. We can't really change things. And then by the end of the ritual, after doing ceremony and raising our frequency, connecting to the sound, connecting to the earth, connecting to the salmon, everyone was like walking on sunshine. And I realized at that point that was the true purpose of ceremony. It's not necessarily to change things out there, but it's to put yourself into better alignment, into that place of joy that you attract. It opens your mind and it opens your heart to more possibilities, right? If you're in fear, if you're trying to protect yourself, you've got a very tunnel vision, limited scope of what your possibilities are. But when you're living in joy and you're wide open, you can see potential and possibilities where otherwise you might not. It's like Joseph Campbell said about, when you move in the direction of your dreams, where there were walls, doors will open. And it's by getting in that place of joy and innocence and curiosity that is... thanks, Roulette, for putting that in my head. Good old hee-haw. Um, so be the happy-go-lucky porcupine just wandering through the forest, looking at the shiny things, wondering what's behind that log. And, you know, it's adventure, it's excitement. You're exploring. Everything is brand new. Every day is a new moment. Every moment of every day is a new moment of creation. It has never happened before. It's brand new, and you are there to behold it. You are there to create it, right? Kind of like that. If no one, you know, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, does it make sound? No, it does not. It creates sound vibrations, but if there's no ears there to perceive it, there's no sound. You create the world around you by what you perceive, right? Rainbows. Rainbows would not exist without our ability to see them. It's our eyes seeing the crystals in the air and the spectrum of light coming through them that creates the rainbow. The perceiver is required. There has to be a receiver. And so by opening your senses, your perceptions to the possibilities of life, to spirit and the deeper meanings of life, etc., you actually will see rainbows where others won't. You'll see possibilities. You'll see miracles. Magic will surround you. Okay? It might look crazy to someone on the outside, but that's their lesson, not yours. You don't have to. You're not in charge of how other people react to you. The best thing you can do for others is to live from your heart, to be your true, authentic self. Because even if people don't like it, that's their lesson, because you're triggering something in them that isn't awakened yet. And their discomfort or their disgruntledness, whatever, however it manifests, is a lesson that they need to work through to get to their own joy, right? If your joy gets you fired, there's someplace else better for you. And I saw someone post something online, like on Facebook today, about, it was like, I wish that job interviews were the same as like super woo-woo podcast interviews. And I'm like, why do they have to be different? If you're your own unique self and that joy and enthusiasm bubbles out, that might be the thing that gets you the edge to get that job. And if not, it wasn't your job in the first place. And if you're not allowed to be yourself, then it's almost moving into a place of slavery where you have to keep your joy confined, right? And that doesn't serve anyone. Let your joy flow and allow it to bring you your right life, okay? All right, number 5 is Joe. All right. I feel like I'm made out of gingerbread. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Crumb picking, lip-licking gingerbread. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Dun, 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 ba-da, ba-da, ba-da. All right. Joe, did you get Weasel last week? I thought either you or Roulette. I might be wrong. I might be thinking of something else. But This is, okay, like I said, card number 5 for anyone who's counting by numbers. Okay, I knew it was sometime recently. And I think it was in reverse if I'm not mistaken. And so, ta-da! You did it! You did it! You uprighted that card. You uprighted Weasel, right? In reverse, Weasel is overthinking things, being overwhelmed, second guessing yourself. It's the hamster wheel. Boom. Now everything is in order. Well, maybe not. It's like, well, everything is, because everything always is in order. But to our senses, it doesn't mean everything is perfect yet. But this shows me that you are relying more heavily on your intuition like you're meant to, rather than trying to run down all the possible pathways and all the possible repercussions and all the possible consequences of moving this way and then that way and then that way and then that way. Whew. You're staying where you are. You're staying centered in yourself and allowing your intuition, which knows the right path, has every possible path, figured out already. And so you can rely on that guidance, on that intuition to lead you down the right path without you having to run down every single path before making a decision, right? And it's a 33, if you can see the number on top. 33 to me I think 33 is about, it's like a message from the masters. In my mind, I just went, by the power of Grayskull! Not the masters of the universe, but like the ascended masters. And it to me, it's like becoming centered, becoming in alignment. It is a sacred number. So Joe, congratulations. I'm not sure what else to say other than enjoy yourself, right? You have the power. Especially with Roulette, exploring her joy, it's time to enjoy your own joy. And allow yourself, when we're trying to cover all bases and trying to figure out every single possible outcome, that takes so much energy, right? And you're exhausted when you do it that way. But when you can center yourself and trust your intuition, just think about the energy that opens up. And with that energy that allows you to explore, again, that, how do I put it? Rather than being protective and, it allows you the energy to go forward and to explore. Because you're always watched over. If there's something threatening, your intuition is going to tell you. And until you get that intuitive nudge, you can let go and play, right? So, anything else, Weasel? I feel like there was something else. Okay. So, Weasel also, they're a burrowing animal, right? They burrow. And so it's like freeing up that energy from trying to create barriers and protection and stuff like that. allows you the energy to dig deeper into things. Allow yourself the joy of digging into things. What's the why? Why is this happening? What are the mechanics of this? Let's dig in. Let's dig under and see what the source is. Let's see why it happens this way. And how is this related to that over there? And allow yourself literally to go down the rabbit hole. Okay? Because you won't get lost. Because you've got your intuition guiding you. Does that make sense, Joe? I hope that helps. But kudos to you. You're doing it. I love that. All right, Feather. My pipe sister. Card number 6. You're welcome, Joe. I mean, thank you for thanking me, but you're the one doing the hard work. You're doing the work. You're doing the growth. I'm just telling you about it. All right, Feather. Feather. You got squirrel in reverse. So I think joy is the common thread tonight. Squirrel is about resourcefulness. And if I knew nothing else about you, that's the one thing I do know, Feather, is how resourceful you are. Oh, thank you, Joe. I appreciate you too. Thank you. Squirrel in reverse can be more of a scarcity mindedness and not necessarily like scarcity in being afraid of running out of money or whatever, but again, like I was saying with alligator, thinking that you're the one, you have to contrive these methods and techniques and ways to get money, to get resources, that you have to sacrifice some of your, the sweat of your brow and that kind of thing in order to earn, right? But you don't. You may not be abundant in the way that bison is abundant. You know, buffalo is a walking mountain of flesh and bone, providing everything that the Plains Indians needed, the food, shelter, clothing, everything in one nonstop shopping, right? Squirrel is about abundance, but it's about the flow of abundance, currency moving through you. It's opening your arms to get that great big acorn and then burying it in the earth, releasing it so that you have open arms to receive the next gift, the next blessing, right? It's allowing it to flow through you and being present in the moment, because if you're always provided for in every moment, if you're provided for in this moment and then the next moment, you have everything you need. And every time you need something, somebody shows up, some synchronicity happens, some circumstance changes to bring you what exactly you need. Exactly, Feather, making space for the new. And it's trusting those synchronicities. So it's not about hoarding things, you know, squirreling them away for a rainy day. Because even if you do that, those acorns could mold, or they could get some disease, or someone else can find them and steal them from you. So the only safe bet is to acknowledge the blessings that are coming to you every moment. Like Tess used to say at Stargazers, she would wake up in the morning and say, okay, universe, I'm ready for my 3 happy surprises of the day. And she would go through her day looking for the happy surprises. She'd have her radar going, right? Happy surprise, happy surprise. And every day, at least 3 things would happen. Someone would pop out of the blue that she hadn't seen for years, or, even to the place of something being on sale in the store, different things. And reveling in those little happy surprises, those little miracles, but not holding on to them, because otherwise your arms are full and you'll never be able to receive any more, right? But if you are taken care of in every moment, and that doesn't mean you can't have a bank account or have money in reserve someplace. I'm not saying that at all. You're channeling Tess this week? Awesome. I love Tess. You can still do those things, but only if it's coming from a place of feeling bountiful, feeling abundant, feeling from the heart, going toward that rather than away from scarcity. Doing it out of fear is the quickest way to lose it all, right? But if you're doing it from joy and you're building up this whole backlog of acorns, and you've got acorns and nuts buried everywhere, then you don't have to worry about the coming winter, because there's always a bounty of nuts and acorns for you to dig up, to feed yourself, to take care of yourself. And the bonus is you're not going to remember every single acorn and nut. And so there are trees and shrubs and forests being planted in your wake. From that joy and gratitude of receiving those blessings, those happy surprises, and letting them go, others, those acorns grow up into big oak trees and drop millions of other acorns, benefiting the entire woodland area, right? So you never know how those resources will come back to help you. It's that, my favorite phrase that I try to follow my life by is walk in beauty, right? And it's like the idea being that when you walk in beauty, everything you say or do sows seeds of either love or fear, right? Creation or destruction. And so you walk in beauty, consciously putting those good seeds out into the world. And the thing is, like that, those seeds are going to grow up into oak trees, and they'll continue to drop acorns. So nothing is ever lost. And what you did in the past will always come back to feed you again. You have more resources than you think you do. And it's partially because of who you've been, what you've done in the past, and all of those things coming back to serve you. Does that make sense? So you said for real, so I'm assuming that means yes. Awesome. You're getting ready to do another massive purge for the winter. That's totally squirrel medicine. It's like you're getting it. That's awesome. That's perfect. Yay. Thank you again to Valerie and Sage for giving your spots up for Tarana and Feather. We're going to pull one more card for the community, for the general populace, whether you've got a card tonight or not. just a reminder that if you would like a complete reading, one-on-one reading, I am available. You can visit my website, perchingwolfstudios.net, and you can set up readings with me. You can see the other shamanic services I offer, healings, soul retrievals, classes, one-on-one mentoring. If you're drawn to the shamanic path, I do one-on-one mentoring to help you find your own unique shamanic path, relationship with your spirits and ancestors. So if any of that sounds good, check out my website, please. I'm here to serve you. I'm here to support you as you support me. It's a beautiful reciprocity, best of both worlds, mutual healing. Thank you, Sage. I'm glad that it was helpful. And I also, if you would like to give the gift of wisdom or the gift of thank you, Joan Roulette, the gift of insight or the gift of healing to someone, your loved ones, I also have gift certificates available. You can get gift certificates for $65 for a half hour or $120 for an hour session with me, or soul retrieval, which is a 2-hour session for $250. So share the love, right? You'll support me and you support your loved ones. And I love my job. I love being able to do this work. And I also, if you check on my website, I have a shop, right? Thank you guys, you're so kind. I also am a cartoonist. Besides being a shaman, I'm a cartoonist, and I have a number of graphic novels. Support your local shaman, yes. Graphic novels and coloring books, which are perfect gifts for the holidays. So check out my website, go to the shop page to see I've got some other merchandise there. I've got my graphic novels and all of that. So lots of choices. Support small business. And I thank you in advance. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for watching this, supporting me by watching and sharing these videos. When we're done here, I'm going to share this video to my Facebook page, and I'm also going to upload it to my YouTube channel. So I have a Perching Wolf Studios YouTube channel where I have over 3 years, almost 4 years now, I think, of these kind of videos, readings and stories and ceremonies. So you can check that out. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. That helps me get higher in the algorithms and stuff, I guess. But it will be there for you to watch, and you can watch tons of other videos I have up there. When you need some peace, you need some guidance, just choose one and go for it. Tarana, you're doing your journaling right now. Awesome. Thank you, Feather. She says the world is a better place with you in it, being you. And the interview. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Feather. If you're interested in learning more about me or more about spirit animals, I just recently did an interview on my friend Nadia Dela Cruz's podcast called Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. And we did an interview, it's like a little over an hour, I think, talking about shamanism and spirit animals. So if you're interested in that, check that out. I'll put that actually in the comment, or yeah, like in the comments, I'll put the link for that if you're interested. And also, on the tail of that, coming up December 9th, I believe, it's a Saturday, from 11 to 1, I'm doing a 2-hour class, online class, a Zoom class on meet your spirit animals. So I'm going to go over how, like, who your spirit animals are, what they do, how they help you, and we will do a guided shamanic journey for you to actually meet your spirit animal. You'll meet at least one of your spirit animals and start a lifelong relationship. So if you've always wanted to know, that's probably the most common question I get is, what's my spirit animal? And the thing is, as a rule, I don't tell people because it's such an intimate thing. It's such a personal thing. I don't want your first connection with your spirit animal to be, no, it's not your zodiac sign. It can be, but we all have spirit guides, animal spirit guides, totems that watch over us. And this is a way to connect to whoever it is that has got your back, that watches over you, protects you, plays with you, has fun, enjoys your joy, always leads you to your higher potential. So no, it's not your zodiac sign. It's like totems, for example, are those the animals, spirit guides that you're born with. It's like the clan you're born into. In fact, the word totem means kin, as in family. And so your totem animals are the ones that are with you from birth to death. It's more of a, yes, absolutely, Tarana. It's like your angel / bestie. Exactly. And it's like your identity. It's like part of your identity. Like, I was born into the wolf clan, or I was born into the hummingbird clan, or whatever. And there are certain properties, just like a zodiac, right? If you're born under a certain sign, you have certain qualities and stuff. And if your totem is a certain animal or animals, there are certain ways you tend to relate to the world. So that can also be found on my website or on my Facebook page. I've got the event page. And it's got the link right there where you can sign up. So it's always a lot of fun to talk about animals. Obviously, I love the animals, right? So please join me. I would love to have you along. All right. I'm shuffling these long enough up to saying more shuffles. All right. Okay. It's so funny. It is so funny because this has been coming up for me a lot recently. Well, and especially with Thanksgiving. Turkey is our community animal guide for the week. And turkey is about, well, turkey is another form of abundance. Turkey is, how do I put it again? It's about sacrifice, but not in a martyrdom kind of thing. Turkey gives of herself for the good of humans, and the Native Americans way back when, working in conjunction with Turkey, saw how well she was taking care of them, and so they took it as their responsibility, the reciprocity, to take care of Turkey, to make sure that Turkey had enough food and shelter and places to roost, so that she could become the biggest, strongest turkey she could come, so that when it was her time to share with the people, she You do a really mean turkey call. She was able to give more. It's like the healthier turkey is, the more she has to give, right? And so it's, when turkey comes up, it's about, well, I've talked about this before, about one of my early vision quests that I went on. The second day, my intention there was to see if it was time for me to do this, right? To go full-time shaman and to do just this. And the second day, there was a parade of like 5 or 6 turkeys, wild turkeys, that just kind of wandered past my campsite. And I started bawling because to me, that was a message from the universe that the universe now supported me enough for me to give my gifts. And so the universe is supporting you for the highest, your highest benefit and the highest benefit of all beings, so that you have more to give, that it is safe for you to give your talents. It is safe for you to be yourself and to give of yourself, because like my friend Nadia, who I did the interview with, once told me, you're not, when you give to others, when you benefit others, you're not giving of yourself as much as they're getting the benefit of the overflow. Like when you fill your cup, right, and take care of yourself, it's the overflow that helps others. And so it's like that, you know, how you can light 1,000 candles with a single flame, because the flame doesn't lose anything by sharing its light, by sharing its heat. It actually expands. That is the giving that is exemplified by turkey. So give of yourself, give of your light. Be the light in the world. You know, be the light in the world that you want to see, right? And that's why I always end these things with "go shining," because that's our only responsibility, is to shine the light that we are. That's our only responsibility, is to be our true, authentic selves and to shine our light into the world, to illuminate things. And it's not always comfortable, and people don't always like it for that, but also to bring light to different possibilities, different ways of doing things, different ways to approach things, of the way that life really works. Tarana, what if people use their flame for bad? It's a good question. How do I put it? That's like the Darth Vader path, right? If your flame is burning down everyone and everything around you, it's also burning you. It's burning away. It's the light focused in the wrong direction. And if you're using your flame for bad, you're not, how do I put this? Just like as we raise our frequency and we draw people of higher frequency to us, when you're using your light to burn things or to burn people, all you're doing is drawing to yourself that same kind of people. And it's ultimately a self-destructive pathway to do that. That said, like I said before, your soul, your heart, your light is inextinguishable. So even if you believe in that, even if you believe in the dog-eat-dog world, the survival of the fittest, all of that, and you're using your flame to get ahead of the world, you're ignoring the true power of your light, but you won't be able to truly harm anyone else who isn't resonating at that level. So if you are using your light for the highest good, for the highest benefit of all beings, you're already above the people who would use their light for power over others. And the hope of the world rides on the majority of us realizing our inner light and shining that light, raising the frequency, because as we raise the frequency of the planet, everyone's frequency rises a little bit. That's why it's important. That's why that's our only responsibility, to shine our own light. Because if you're not, and it's kind of questionable if you're using your flame. I don't know that you can use your flame for bad. Because it's kind of like, then you're not really shining your own light. Then you're in a power struggle with others. And that whole power struggle is just an illusion. Ultimately, every person is just as powerful and just as divine as every other person, right? And so even the Darth Vader path, there is never a place of eternal despair or hopelessness. You are always connected to Creator. You are always connected to the divine. You are eternal. You are loved eternally. And there is nothing, because that's who you are. You are love. You are light. And it's a recognition of that light that allows it to shine brighter, right? And so if you're down in a lower vibration, using your flame to get at people or to be, power your own egoic desires, then you're not truly shining your light. And if you're shining your light, you don't have to worry about these people down here, because you're up here, drawing more and more people of higher vibration to you. Does that help? Does that make sense to you? Like I said earlier, your highest guidance will always guide you in the direction of your dreams and your highest potential. It will never guide you to protect yourself from other things, because it's about frequency. And if we start to protect, you're at a high frequency up here. If you start to protect yourself against someone who's down here, the only way to do that is to lower your frequency, to resonate with where they are. But then the good news is that all you have to do is remember your light and raise that frequency again. And then they don't have anything to do with you. They can't harm you then, because you're on a whole different frequency. Just like, the fob on your car that sends out a certain frequency for your car to unlock. No one else's fob is going to work, because it's a certain frequency that it resonates with. And so if they're coming at you with that frequency, they can be pushing that fob all they want, but they're not going to be able to lock your doors, lock you in, right? Because you're a whole different frequency that doesn't recognize that frequency. And ultimately, we are all one. Ultimately, we are all divine. Ultimately, we are all coming home. It's inevitable. Interesting. Yeah, Feather. It's like the dogs that hear that silent whistle. It's like when you start to pay attention, when you start to grow, when you start to work on yourself, to become more who you are, you become more aware and more sensitive to those vibrations, and you start to, that's your intuition. You meet someone and you're like, oh, I can't trust this person. I'm not going to share so much with this person. And as soon as I can, I'm going to walk away from that person and walk toward the people who resonate with you, that feel open, and learn to trust your feelings, use the force, right? To trust There's so much more power in trusting and working together. We're so much more powerful when we work together than we are when we try to take care of our own little selves, right? So there you go. I hope that's helpful. And Tarina, if you have any other questions, feel free to message me. I would, if that didn't help, I would love to go into it further. And anyone else, if anyone is ever questioning or needs clarity on the readings they got, feel free to message me, okay? I'm always here to help, always here to support you, and I thank you again for supporting me. So that's it for this week. I hope to see you next week. Invite your friends. Please, please, please share this video far and wide. Thank you for supporting me by watching the video. And I hope to see you next week. And until I see you again, know that I love you, that I see you, and that I honor you. Go shining. All right. Bye, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.